Long before the invention of cushioned running shoes, ancient hunter-gatherers crossed vast wild savannas entirely barefoot without suffering chronic joint pain. Fossilized footprints preserved in ancient volcanic ash reveal early hominins possessed wide fan-shaped toes and robust muscular arches built for endurance. The human foot is an architectural marvel of biological engineering, containing 26 bones, 33 complex joints, and over 100 tendons. Unlike rigid modern footwear that casts feet into stiff prisons, natural ancestral feet functioned as highly responsive and elastic dynamic spring mechanisms. The long plantar fascia acts like an elastic biological catapult, storing kinetic energy with every step and releasing it smoothly forward during locomotion. Ice Age nomadic tribes traveled tens of thousands of kilometers across freezing tundra and rugged stone mountain ridges without modern orthopedic support. Their heel pads developed thick protective calluses that shielded delicate tissue without dulling essential neurological ground tactile sensation at all. Modern humans often believe feet are inherently fragile and defective structures that constantly require artificial arch support and gel padding to survive. Yet evolutionary anthropology demonstrates that human bipedalism evolved over millions of years precisely around the natural barefoot mechanical template. When walking without shoes, the 5 metatarsal bones splay outward naturally to distribute body weight evenly across the entire surface area of the foot. This wide base of support provided prehistoric foragers with incredible stability on slippery mud riverbanks and jagged mountain cliff faces in all seasons. Every single tendon in the ancestral lower leg worked in perfect neuromuscular harmony, strengthening intrinsic muscles with every single stride taken. Modern shoes with elevated heels and narrow toe boxes permanently deform foot structure, squeezing toes together and severely weakening the plantar arch. In contrast, fossilized skeletal remains of Paleolithic populations show zero evidence of bunions, plantar fasciitis, or collapsed longitudinal foot arches. The Achilles tendon in barefoot humans operates at full physiological length, maximizing natural elastic recoil efficiency and drastically reducing fatigue. This unmatched biomechanical efficiency allowed our ancestors to outrun the fastest four-legged prey animals on the planet across brutal midday heat waves. We did not dominate the planet through sheer sprint speed or sharp claws, but through our unparalleled biological endurance running capacity across terrain. To truly understand this ancient superpower, we must explore the evolutionary art of persistence hunting across prehistoric wilderness African savanna lands. Persistence hunting is one of humanity's oldest and most formidable hunting strategies, relying entirely on relentless cardiovascular aerobic endurance. Quadrupedal animals like antelopes and zebras can sprint remarkably fast in short bursts, but they cannot pant and gallop at the exact same physical moment. Their internal body temperature rises rapidly during prolonged flight, forcing them to stop frequently in shady spots to cool their vital internal organs. Humans possess millions of eccrine sweat glands across bare skin, allowing continuous evaporative cooling while running long distances under the blazing sun. A barefoot hunter would track a target animal for 4 to 6 continuous hours, never allowing the exhausted beast time to rest and cool down its muscles. Running without heavy shoes minimized rotational inertia at the distal end of the leg, saving precious metabolic energy with every single running mile. Every 100 grams of added weight on the foot increases energetic running cost by approximately 1% over extended marathon racing distances. Over a 30-kilometer chase, barefoot efficiency meant the difference between successful tribal nourishment and fatal caloric exhaustion in the wild. Hunters read subtle ground cues through the soles of their feet, feeling soil dampness, slope angles, and ground firmness instantly on the continuous run. They could sprint across sharp thorn scrub and hot savanna sands because lifelong barefoot exposure produced resilient leathery epidermal protective pads. When the prey finally collapsed from systemic heat stroke, the hunter approached calmly with deep respect, securing essential calories for the entire clan. This relentless hunting strategy shaped our anatomical evolution, elongating our legs, enlarging gluteal muscles, and refining complex foot architecture. The human nuchal ligament in the neck evolved specifically to keep the head steady while running, an adaptation entirely absent in modern forest chimpanzees. Without the biomechanical resilience of our feet, early humans could never have sustained the grueling physical demands of persistence hunting in nature. Every generation passed down intimate tracking wisdom, teaching youth how to move silently across dry twigs without snapping them in predatory pursuit. silent barefoot stalking allowed hunters to close critical distance before launching sharp wooden spears with lethal close-range predatory hunting precision. The foot was not merely a passive weight-bearing stump, but an active, highly intelligent hunting instrument fundamental to our ancient species' survival. The fundamental secret behind this injury-free endurance running lies in how ancestral feet made physical mechanical impact with the natural ground surface. When an unshod human runs naturally, the foot lands almost universally on the forefoot or midfoot rather than slamming heavily onto the rigid heel bone. Landing on the ball of the foot allows the ankle joint to flex naturally, engaging calf muscles and the Achilles tendon as natural biological shock struts. This forefoot strike pattern completely eliminates the abrupt transient collision force that normally travels violently up the skeletal chain upon impact. In sharp contrast, roughly 75% of modern shod runners strike the ground heel first due to thick synthetic foam sole cushion padding layers. Thick padded heels fool the brain by dulling sensory pain receptors, allowing runners to violently hammer their calcaneus bone without even realizing it. A heel strike generates a violent collision peak equal to 2 to 3 times the runner's body weight within just 10 milliseconds of initial ground contact. Over the course of a single 10-kilometer run, a heel striker subjects their joints to thousands of repetitive unmitigated hydraulic shockwaves into bone. This impact transient is a primary mechanical cause of modern chronic running injuries like painful shin splints, patellar tendinitis, and knee joint damage. If you attempt to sprint heel first while completely barefoot on hard stone, the unbearable bone impact forces you to change your running form instantly. Pain is biology's most efficient feedback mechanism, instantly teaching the human nervous system to adopt the softest and safest natural landing mechanics. By cushioning the heel artificially, modern footwear disabled our natural warning system and encouraged biomechanically destructive daily movement habits. Elevated shoe heels also shorten calf muscle fibers over time, predisposing modern athletes to chronic Achilles tendinitis when running shoes come off. Ancestral feet maintained a completely flat zero-drop profile, keeping the pelvis neutral and the spinal column aligned naturally in upright locomotion. Harvard evolutionary biologists studying barefoot tribes in Kenya confirmed that natural runners exhibit exceptionally lower vertical mechanical impact forces. Their step cadence naturally increases to approximately 180 steps per minute, keeping feet directly under the body's central center of mass. Overstriding, where the foot lands far ahead of the knee, acts like a heavy brake that destroys forward momentum and multiplies joint stress tenfold over time. When landing with the foot directly beneath the center of gravity, natural gravity and kinetic inertia work smoothly with human biology rather than against it. Yet shock absorption is only half of the barefoot equation. The other half is an astonishing network of sensory neuroreceptors in the living foot sole. The human sole is one of the most densely innervated regions of the entire body, containing over 200,000 sensitive tactile nerve endings. These specialized mechanoreceptors constantly read ground texture, temperature, slope angles, and pressure changes with lightning-fast millisecond speed. This sensory stream feeds directly into the brain's somatosensory cortex, creating a real-time high-resolution map of the immediate physical wilderness terrain. This process is called proprioception, the subconscious awareness of joint position, muscular tension, and total body equilibrium in 3 dimensions. When barefoot hunters stepped onto an unstable rock, their intrinsic foot muscles fired micro-adjustments in milliseconds before dangerous slips occurred. Enclosing feet in rigid thick-soled shoes is biologically equivalent to wearing heavy oven mitts while trying to play a delicate classical grand piano. Without tactile sensory feedback, the brain becomes blind to ground reality, resulting in sloppy foot placement and drastically increased fall hazards. In elderly modern populations, chronic footwear-induced sensory loss is a major contributing factor to catastrophic balance loss and fractured hip falls. Ancient elders who walked barefoot on rugged terrain maintained sharp dynamic balance and agile motor reflexes well into their final advanced decades of life. Barefoot walking also stimulates crucial acupressure reflex zones, promoting systemic blood circulation and activating restorative parasympathetic calm. Every uneven stone and pinecone acts like a natural massage that strengthens deep facial layers and prevents chronic muscular atrophy in foot arches. Children raised barefoot develop significantly stronger longitudinal arches, wider toe spreads, and superior motor agility across their entire development. Modern studies show confining young developing feet in narrow stiff shoes permanently alters bone alignment and stunts healthy natural arch development. The famous Tarahumara runners of northern Mexico run hundreds of miles across canyons wearing only flat minimalist sandals made from discarded tire tread. They suffer virtually no running-related injuries and view long-distance endurance running as a joyful communal celebration rather than a grueling chore. Their legendary endurance proves that human physical performance is maximized when foot mechanics remain completely unhindered by modern footwear gimmicks. Our feet are sensory antennas designed to connect us intimately with the physical earth, grounding our biology deeply in the natural living environment. How did modern industrial civilization break this ancient biological connection, and how can we reclaim our ancestral movement freedom in modern daily life? The modern cushioned running shoe was invented only in the early 1970s, abruptly altering millions of years of natural evolutionary foot design. Clever marketing campaigns convinced the world that human feet were flawed biological structures that constantly required corporate technology to function. 50 years later, despite billion-dollar advancements in footwear tech, running injury rates remain stubbornly unchanged at up to 80% annually. Orthotic arch supports act like casts. By immobilizing the foot arch, they cause supporting intrinsic muscles to weaken and atrophy from chronic disuse. Narrow toe boxes push the great toe inward toward the second toe, triggering painful hallux valgus bunions and destroying lateral walking balance completely. When the big toe cannot splay outward, the foot loses its primary biomechanical anchor, forcing the knee and hip joints to overcompensate awkwardly in motion. Rebuilding ancestral foot strength begins with simple daily habits, spending time barefoot at home and transitioning to wide toe box minimalist footwear. Toe spreading exercises, foot mobility drills, and walking on natural grass can reactivate dormant intrinsic foot muscles within just several short months. Transitioning to minimalist zero-drop shoes allows the Achilles tendon to gradually regain its full physiological length and natural spring recoil power. However, transition must be gradual. Decades of shoe use mean calf muscles and bones need ample time to adapt without overloading delicate connective tissue. Walking on varied natural surfaces like beach sand, rounded river gravel, and rich forest soil loam provides optimal sensory re-education for waking feet. Over time, the foot arch naturally lifts, the toe box widens, and chronic knee and lower back pain frequently vanish completely without medical drugs. We were born with a pair of masterpieces at the ends of our legs, perfected across hundreds of thousands of years in the unforgiving survival crucible. The endurance that allowed our ancestors to outrun prey on the scorching savanna is still written deeply within our biological human DNA blueprint today. When you liberate your feet from rigid cages, you do not just improve running mechanics, you reclaim your fundamental evolutionary ancestral human heritage. Listen to the subtle tactile wisdom of your soles, embrace natural ground movement, and rediscover the joyful endurance built into your human biology. If you found value in this deep dive into prehistoric human movement, please subscribe and share to explore more forgotten ancestral biological wisdom. Tell us in the comments below, have you ever tried barefoot walking or minimalist footwear? See you in our next ancient archaeological video investigation.